Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Many Husker fans chiming in on the latest topic, talking about how we're smoking crack and have to pick a side, and I hate Creighton all the time. There are a couple that said, yeah, I think, Happer, you're currently hearing from the vocal minority. Alex in Lincoln, I think, puts it pretty well. He says, I was at the game yesterday. If that's a Wisconsin game, it's a way more intense environment. Or if that's a Penn State game, it's a more intense environment. Maybe it was loud enough. Like we've seen loud Nebraska football games, but very few as intense as we saw on Saturday night, right? Why was it intense? Because they hated each other. They didn't like each other. You were hungry for it, right? I don't know, like obviously, Nebraska's 23-0 against Creighton. Like you're not hungry to beat Creighton, outside of the idea that they're good and a top 10 team and they wear blue. And people, I don't like when people wear blue. Blue. I saw a lot of dead birds on my timeline last night. That's for sure, for a variety of reasons.
You big on dead birds?
It's just dead. No, I'm not big on dead. That's what happens when Nebraska beats Creighton and stuff. They show that picture of that dead bird just laying there. It's kind of sad. It died alone. All right, here's my prediction for the week. Nebraska does play Northern Iowa this weekend. I don't know if you heard the news. And people are like, can we just fast forward ahead to the good games? No, we wait all off season for this. All right. There's stuff that's going to be in here that's important.
Waiting all day for Saturday night.
Exactly. On the BTN with unknown. Well, I do know the broadcasters, but I couldn't tell you their names off the top of my head. Yogi is one of them.
That's right.
Nebraska will allow 0 points to Northern Iowa on Saturday.
Whoa.
0 points. And in fact, if you're gonna tie me to a score right now, I'll tell you my exact score prediction on Wednesday. I know I don't do this very often.
Whoa, Connor, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this is what I'm working. So I don't lock this in, but this is my working total right now.
Do you remember how tightly guarded
I know,
Josh
and
John? They're so weird about it.
48-0.
Connor, that's very good.
48-0. And so I tweeted out my prediction. The big part of the prediction is Northern Iowa scores 0 points on Saturday. 0 points. And I got a tweet from Travis. And I don't think Travis is alone here. Travis says, Northern Iowa is better than Colorado. They're a solid FCS program. Depending on what metric, like they're in the SEC of the FCS. That's for sure. They haven't had much success in it in recent years, to be completely honest with you. But Travis says they're better than Colorado, to which I said, they are not better than Colorado. Let's just get that straight right up front. And it brings up this point. So Nebraska's in this moment right now where they're coming off an emotional win against Colorado. And as we've said all week, it was a perfect opportunity for a coach to be able to get in there and coach, right? Nebraska's up 28-0 at halftime, and they just didn't look great on offense in the second half. There's penalties, and
a little sloppy.
It could have been a lot worse on Saturday night for the Buffs than it ended up being. Could have been, as Rule said like 3 times at his Monday press conference, it could have been 40 or 50-10. That's about what I thought it was going to be. It didn't end up being that. So I think that is a message to the players. Hey, this is what you can be, and you know it. You know it. And then he also said, turning the head to Northern Iowa, he kind of lumped UTEP and Colorado into the same category of, hey, these are teams that want to go fast and they want to spread you out and they want to throw it all over the yard a little bit. What we're going to see in Northern Iowa this week is a different kind of challenge. It's the same. It's the same challenge that we're going to be seeing in the Big Ten Conference, right? They're going to run the football. And he goes, well, I'm pretty curious to see, how we match up against that. And let me tell you, and it's like you guys forget, we listen so specifically to the things that the coaches are saying, And you got to understand that sometimes the coaches aren't talking to the public. The coaches are talking to their players. He's trying to send a message to his team. He's like, you better be ready for this. Because he wants to keep them locked in. It's part of the thing. It's part of the difficulty of playing an FCS opponent the week after you have this big emotional win on national television. And so I think he's trying to keep them engaged and saying, hey, these guys can give you a run. He said something about how when he was a coach in the NFL, he didn't look at Nebraska players. He looked at Northern Iowa players. He didn't see any Nebraska players, but he watched Northern Iowa players, right? It's almost a scare tactic. But why are we forgetting that Nebraska last year had a top 10 defense against the run in the country? You know, if the rub with playing Northern Iowa coming off of the UTEP and Colorado game is that, hey, look, they're a Big Ten style team and they want to run the ball. I think how Rule is trying to portray it to his team is, oh, this is a different challenge. You better be prepared for it. And we haven't seen this yet. So we better prepare really, really well this week. But I think, and we've all seen it, that Nebraska is actually a team that is better equipped and better prepared to play the type of teams that they're going to be seeing in the Big Ten. I think the teams that try to spread you out and try to throw the ball downfield and make plays with their quarterback and go fast actually pose a bigger threat to Nebraska. Now, this is outside of the talent levels of UTEP and Colorado compared to whatever you're going to see in the Big Ten. But I think those type of teams actually are the type of teams that would give Nebraska more fits. That's what I've seen. And so I think Nebraska is going to have a hell of a time stopping the run this week. They're going to stop it really well. And their quarterback stinks, and they're scoring 0 points on Saturday. So there's my prediction. The main point here is you don't have to listen to what the coach, like, it does not everything the coach says is 100%. Like it's not for you.
It's not for you.
It's for the players, and they have to keep them locked in. And I do think that's part of the challenge this week of like, hey, we're coming off this emotional win. Let's make sure we lock in for this. But there's no world where UNI wins this game. There's none.
No path?
There's no path, Josh. I'm comfortable with saying that.
Wow.
No path. Not worried about it whatsoever. And I don't think they're going to score any points on Saturday. So I'll back that up right here. Making an early prediction. Goose eggs for the Panthers. Look at what they've done to our cats. They're eating our cats.
I think that defense is going to pitch a shutout this year.
Okay.
At some point.
Okay.
They're probably feeling themselves quite a bit right now and might. God, that would be the best way to keep them engaged is you want that shutout, don't you? You want that donut.
No, I don't think that's the, like, I don't think he's dangling that out there as a possibility to his players. He's telling them, like, these guys are going to try and ram it up your face. You know, are you going to answer the bell?
You don't want to get your face rammed, do you?
Yeah, that's the last thing I want, to get my face rammed. So, pull question somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You don't want to get your face rammed, do you? Question mark. So no,
that can be taken a different way.
Nobody wants to get their face rammed. And I think that's the challenge to them this week. Like this is the type of thing that Illinois is going to try to do to them, that Iowa's going to try to do to them, that probably not Indiana is going to try to do to them. Nope. That's a little bit, but I make no mistake about it. I think Nebraska is better equipped to play against these type of teams, the Big Ten, slow plotting offenses with bad quarterbacks, than they are against dynamic quarterbacks who want to move the ball up and down the field, go fast, and then take your shots when you can spread you out and then hit you up to the middle, then ram it in your face. I think Nebraska is better equipped to play against these type of teams, and they're less talented than either of the two teams that Nebraska's seen in the schedule so far. So my math, I got these. It's just a math equation in my head. 48-0. You don't have to be scared about this just because Matt Rule wants the players to be scared.
I can't.
That is my main point of this segment.
I just can't immediately dismiss what you're saying, Connor.
You don't have. You can agree with me, Josh. You don't have to. You don't have to poke holes in my argument if you agree with it.
I don't know if I'm there yet.
Venmo
very
Chris,
close.
Venmo Chris writes in.
Hi, Venmo Chris.
So, what are you going to do when Northern Iowa puts up 21 points? Do I get an apology for believing you? Yes, you will get an apology. I will apologize. If this is leading towards some sort of like Connor has to do something embarrassing if Northern Iowa scores. No, like
No.
I'm going out on a limb here, guys. This is a bold prediction. Nebraska's allowing 0 points on Saturday.
You've done Big Red Overreaction this season.
Twice.
That's right.
2 for 2.
Have there been the traditional calls of, well, it should have been 60-7 or whatever? Like, are people calling that we're not laying it on thick enough? We're not running up that score.
I think there was a disappointment for what happened in the second half on Saturday,
Sure.
but not like, we really, only now after Rule has watched the tape and told everybody what he's seen, is there like a regret of like, we could have won that game by 40 points.
Mhm.
I think that's how I'm reading it. That's how,
Yeah.
and I don't think it was some like emotional high that led them to do what they did on Saturday night. I just thought they were a lot better than them. Just like I think they're going to be a lot better than Northern Iowa.
Yeah, good game plan, hard work. And
Yeah. Now we'll talk about Illinois when we get to Illinois, but that's a little bit of a different conversation.
I watched Illinois versus Kansas last night.
Don't trick yourself into being scared of our Cats.
No.
Don't trick yourself into that just because the coach wants his players to be a little worried about it. They want them to be on their toes. That's my lesson of the prediction. It's a prediction and then a lesson. It's really the best of sports radio.
The players should take every opponent seriously.
Yeah.
After watching Illinois upset Kansas last night, I don't think we need to take Illinois all that seriously.
I know.
Kansas was
now all of a
pretty
sudden
reckless
we're
with that
worried.
football.
Everybody's worried about everything.
Yeah.
Why are we so worried about stuff? This is good. It's going well.
I understand. You've been burned before. You've been hurt.
Yeah.
You've been
The bad man is gone.
Yeah.
He's in LA or maybe working remotely from Phoenix. Unclear.
Which is his decision.
You can do that if you want to.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't want to go into the office. Venmo Chris follows up. He says, I asked that for the people because I believe it will be a shutout or damn close. I hope that a whole bunch of people predict a shutout now, and I get to say that I was first.
You were out there first with the take.
I'm gonna be.
I see what you're playing chess, not checkers, my friend.
That's right. Wednesday. That's my new thing. Make your predictions on Wednesday. So when everybody predicts the same score this weekend, I'll be like, well, they're all copying off.
Copied
of me. From the 402.
402.
So Nebraska scoring 48. Do they kick 2 field goals or miss an extra point? Great question. The more likely out of the two would be to miss an extra point, probably. Or maybe you kick a couple 20-yard field goals or something.
Well, you got to stop short of the end zone so that you can get the practice of the field goal kicks, right?
48-0. I will not specify how they get to 48. That would be a little too specific. 48-0.
Dave says 3 safeties.
3. That seems more likely than kicking multiple field goals at this point. Got a tweet earlier from Dave. Is it Dave Fight who wrote that? Dave Fight wrote this one.
Yes.
He
writes a lot.
He loves having takes, and he loves tracking things. He says, while I think the Black Shirts are long overdue for a shutout, and they've had 0 since the Nebraska's back and we're here to stay Holiday Bowl in 2009. In 16 games against FCS or Division I AA schools since 1992, Nebraska has yet to record a shutout.
Since 92?
Yeah.
Oh.
Lots of games with fourth quarter touchdowns against the Scrubs. All right. Well, I'm saying that history will be made in Lincoln.
The theme of this season is righting wrongs. The first time since blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. That's back.
You need
at your media guides, folks.
You need that page of the media guide open and highlighted because you're going to be using it.